What's up, everybody? Thralls of Metal here. I'm Jammin John.
Necrotic Nick.
And we are bringing you, guess what? Another album review, because that's what we do here at this channel. And today we're going to go over something that neither of us have really ever heard before. Although we probably should have, because this band's been out a while, but you know how it rolls here at Thralls of Metal. Can't hear it all the time.
We try.
So today we're going to go over the latest offering from the band Messa with their album The Spin. This also comes out on the 11th of April on Metal Blade Records. This band formed in 2014 in Italy. This is actually their fourth album, but it's the first one we've heard.
Yeah, I heard a single. Actually, I watched the music video for the song At Races, and it was very noirish, shot entirely in black and white. And I was like, man, this has just got kind of a fun goth rock vibe. And a good buddy of ours, Rick, over at the Dreadful Minutes, said, hey, you got to check out this Messa band. They're pretty damn cool. And, well, Rick is always a good, advisor when it comes down to things, especially gloomy and doomy. He's got a nose for the gloom and doom. And, I would say he kind of nailed one here, because this is doom metal / goth rock. There's more to it, and believe me, we're going to get into it. But this album has just a very particular kind of vibe, and I fucking dig it.
Now, the vocalist of this band, Sarah, was in another band called Bottomless, which was sent to us on a split by our friends in Besseris, actually, just something at random. And again, like we said, this band is classified as both doom and goth rock, but as we'll get into, pretty much a mixture of a lot of things I did not see coming.
Yeah, outside of the single that I heard, I had pretty much a clean slate going into this. Like, I really didn't know what to expect. Basing it on one single would have been a mistake, because that one single, At Races, definitely had a fiercely goth rock vibe, as does the opening track, Void Meridian. Like, lots of stuff that is very comparable to Sisters of Mercy and, more recent acts. I mean, the latest Tribulation definitely comes to
100%.
mind. Unto Others, and even some cool occult rock bands like The Devil's Blood. It has that sort of vibe. You get the shimmering guitars, these cool droning bass sections, which it's a combination of played bass and these warm, amazing bass synths. My God, if you could touch sound, this sound would be like, petting a fucking chinchilla. It's so fucking soft.
Yeah. Now, a lot of what you'll get in a lot of songs are things like catchy melodies, because they're all over this record. Even right now, as we sit here, I have riffs and melodies stuck in my head from this album. They're that damn catchy. Big vocal passages. Sarah is a hell of a vocalist, by far. And a good 98% of it is clean vocals, fairly powerful, big vocal harmonies, but it's a lot of crooning.
Oh, her delivery.
Boy, does she croon.
It's, again, like, it's kind of gruff, like a little bit, like, it's very breathy. And, like, there's points on here, especially when the atmosphere shifts, where she kind of goes from, like, belting out like a rocker. Like, there's points in here where, kind of vaguely reminded me of, like, Pat Benatar. And then she kind of shrinks back down to the whispers, and she kind of sounds like a lounge singer. And believe me, the lounge vibe on here in some of these clean sections is very, very potent. At Races in particular, when that bridge hit, I was like, oh my God, man, we just kind of slinked back to 1950s LA. Fiercely noir vibe, very smooth, very soft. The whole section of that song just feels like it's played in a seedy club that's dimly lit, and lots of secondhand smoke floating around the air for everyone to breathe in because it's good for you. Except it has like a gothic tinge to it. Like, instead of everyone dressed, for the period, everyone's wearing like, leather jackets, and like they're smoking cloves cigarettes, and it's decidedly hot in that club, but everyone's keeping the leathers on because they're committed to it. But it's the transitions in and out of that. The album is very dynamic and surprising. Like, there are things on here that I thought I would never hear, like the song Reveal comes in with Delta blues acoustic guitars, like it's pure busker energy. And then all of a sudden you get a sliding electric guitar, like, all right, that's almost like the Iron Man riff, but it's not. And well, when the song kicks in, you have like this blues rock kind of doom metal thing. But with blast beats. Like, there's a blast beat pocket to the rhythm.
There's stuttered blast beats. It's not a full blast beat, but you get a good, like, blast beat stutter, and then it kicks into the normal beat. But it's like, with blues guitar, like a slide steel guitar, and you're like, that's weird.
I don't think I have ever heard that combination before.
No, those two things together in a sentence, blast beat and slide steel guitar, I don't think I've ever heard them, ever.
It's maybe happened before, but I haven't heard it, so I will say that this might have been the first time. And that's just one example of some like the crazy transitions on here, but everything, it's not like, you know, like out of nowhere transitions you expect from like Between the Buried Me. Like, oh my God, they're doing like the fucking pub section and now we're getting into thrash metal and a deathcore breakdown. Because why not? It's BT Bam. Everything in here is smooth. It's very fluid. It's, I don't know, kind of moves around like, well, you know, the smoke you exhale from a clove cigarette, because I feel like that's the total vibe on here. Immolation, which sounds nothing like Immolation. I don't think I need to tell you that. Very interesting song and a very surprising song. It's predominantly a piano ballad. It's these isolated pianos and kind of a combination of like a synth harmony, and you get those warm bass synths underneath, and these very isolated vocals from Sarah. They're haunting. They're prettier than hell. They're very emotive, very forlorn, I would say. And it's just sort of amazing because the first thing I thought of is like, am I listening to like the goth rock equivalent of Alicia Keys? Because I might be, but her delivery still has that like lounge singer appeal. Like, again, I kind of could see her again on this dimly lit stage with the classic canister microphone, and she's got a cigarette in the other hand, and the in-between exhales, she's just crooning beautifully. But it has this big chorus on it, and choruses on here, well, all of them I think are great. Like, they have a great sense of melody, but it kind of shifts gears from this lounge vibe to Berlin, Take My Breath Away. Like, I kind of got that vibe too. My wires got so fucking crossed by this song. And then they got further crossed because it builds into like a big fucking metal section with a big lead on it. Like, it's just got like fierce 80s metal energy all over it. What the fuck?
Dude, all the leads on this record. Something actually really cool about these leads is they all placate specifically to the vibe of the song. And with 7 songs on here, I would state that actually notably all of these songs have a little bit different sound to them and a little bit different vibe to them. Like, they all carry the same emotion, like very dark, very gothy again, not necessarily haunting, but they're just a little bit different, like having a slide steel guitar with blasts. But all the leads are placated especially to those, so you think with like a slide bluesy guitar, you're gonna get a bluesy riff, and there's a bluesy riff. Or the last track, which is notably comparable to Candlemass or Crypt Sermon, you get a big like heavy metal doomy lead in it. And that happens throughout this record. And it's very cool because it helps each of these unique songs be more unique.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you got songs that definitely kind of like have a similar energy. Like, there's definitely like the more goth rock songs. So the first 2 songs, very goth rock. Like, you get the shimmering guitars, that very melancholic sort of vibe. But when you get down to songs like Fire in the Roof, Thicker Blood, and even Reveal, they're a little bit heavier. They're a little bit more rockin'. Fire in the Roof is really cool about transitioning the whole mood of the album, too. It starts off with the pulsating synths, which, again, the synths on here are wonderful, kind of no matter what they're doing. And you kind of feel like you're getting, like, kind of, like, lured into another goth rocker, and then all of a sudden, when the chorus kicks in, it's this big, heavy metal, like, Black Sabbath sort of vibe. Big stomping riff, big vocal harmonies. Like, the chorus is just powerful as hell, and she's pretty much just saying the song title, and generally I bitch about that, but no, like, the riffs, the crooning, the energy, and again, this kind of give and take in the song in terms of, like, constantly building it back up to that chorus. I love it, because you feel like you're getting, like, revved up each time.
The real treasure on this record, though, are the longer songs. Again, we talked about Thicker Blood just a little bit there, the big doomy song. That song is almost 9 minutes long, and I really like it because for the most part it just jams. Like, you get a lot of twin lead harmonies in there. The lead melodies on this record are very prominent anyway. Not just the guitar leads themselves, but there are a lot of lead melodies that carry most of these songs. And Thicker Than Blood is just a jam through and through. Like, after they get through that initial doomy part, there's a good, like, 2.5, almost 3 minute long, just like instrumental jam and some death growls.
Yeah,
I heard at the end,
which kind of caught me off guard. The lead work and the guitar harmonies and such, I mean, they're beautiful. And there's a lot of stuff, well, like, I'd say, like, all the leads are kind of different. Like, they capture different vibes because they come at different points of the songs. You want to match the vibe, we'll get into that a little bit more. But bass line, there's a lot of like, I don't know, like David Gilmour. I got a lot of like Gary Moore vibes in some of this too. And I mean, I would even say like Uli John Roth at certain points, you know, like the early Scorpion shit. But the dress, that one's the centerpiece on here for me. I mean, all these songs are awesome, but the dress.
The dress, dude, let me just be honest here. The bridge of this song is probably my favorite moment in this entire record. Now, the song itself, kind of sludgy riff in the beginning, I noticed. A little bit of an off-time groove, and then the song is pretty much like this constant ebb and flow of building and jamming. Like, it starts off slow and somber like a lot of these songs do, and it builds into a heavier jam part. But if I were to swipe all that aside and just get to the bridge of this song, it is one of the best moments on the whole record. I can say that confidently. It's got this amazing bass synth jam. Oh my god, just jazzy and like just the sexiest, like most sultry thing you've ever heard. And it's got a muted trumpet played with it that's awesome, and it just kind of sets up like this whole seedy jazz bar vibe thing. Again, talking about her sitting in a dress with a cup microphone, kind of like Jessica Rabbit and Roger Rabbit. Yeah, they're singing that whole thing.
The fluttering jazz leads on there, too. Yeah. My God. Again, like how the leads have different character for the different points in the songs. And again, the wild transitions and such. Like, I wasn't expecting that. Like, again, I was kind of basing what this might be off of one song. Silly me. I know there's probably tons of fans like, oh man, they've been doing this shit for years. Like, well, clearly for, 3 other albums. And if they're as good as this, I'll probably fucking get them. But yeah, like, all of this captured me. But those slow, sultry, just, I don't know, like, kind of seedy sections on here, like, those, like, I don't know, I felt like I was getting, like, wrapped in a fucking warm blanket. Mm-hmm. They're just soothing, and which is really interesting because this is still goth rock. It's very melancholic. The lyrics are very much in that doom metal vein where it's just darkness and dreariness. Like, there's definitely some, lovelorn songs in here, but all of it feels comforting and warm. And I love the fact that this band can go from like just like really classic like doom metal heavy to almost like ASMR sort of like comfort.
Yeah.
And every song on here has just, again, a giant chorus hook. And the album and the songs themselves are all so well paced. They build into them beautifully. It's not really like a moment wasted. And while I could definitely say, like, there's almost like a progressive structure to this, it doesn't scream self-indulgent or pretentious or anything like that. The songs just flow naturally, even though they're doing some really crazy off-the-wall stuff occasionally. But it all works in here. In terms of any negatives on here, I'm kind of hard-pressed to find any. I love the production. My God, the production's perfect. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that there's a little bit of 70s and 80s in there. The 80s kind of comes out in, of course, like the more shimmering goth rock songs, but it's that snare. It kind of has that canned 80s sound occasionally.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was good universally, like in some of the softer sections. Something a little bit more muted might have worked, at least in terms of capturing the atmosphere. The one thing that kind of put me off, and it's weird because it's the thing that I'm doing, like, yeah, fuck yeah, on like every other fucking album we listen to, the growl. The growl at the end just kind of came out of nowhere. And it wasn't bad. It was like this howl. It was very desperate. And it still kind of fit, but I was like, I kind of want to hear her sing again.
It almost gave it like a blackened kind of metal vibe. I don't know. But it's where it was. Like, it's in a place where you wouldn't expect it to be. Like, because even the music at that point isn't really heavy, but you get this growl that just kind of comes out of nowhere, and you're like, well, that's cool, but...
Well, the end of the song, Thicker Blood, it's very lush sounding. Mm-hmm. Like, it's got, some dissonant melodies to it. And that whole jam at the end, that melody is absolutely infectious. Like, again, like the power of a simple key change in a vocal hook. But they ride out this melody, and, it comes at a point where it's getting a little bit more, like, dissonant and lush, like almost kind of post-metal-ish. And then you get this, like, howling kind of scream. And again, it wasn't bad. It was just like, does this belong here? Like, that's the only moment where it just kind of felt like I don't know if that necessarily works that well.
And I guess a gripe to me might be like the first song, because if you look at the rest of these songs in comparison, the first song is just pretty much straightforward and kind of just there, in my opinion. Like, because it really kind of opens up. Once you get to the bridge of At Races when they had the jam, the record itself is kind of off to the races. And that first track, I don't think necessarily fits the vibe of the record so much as it does just kind of sets everything up. But to me, I just thought that track was kind of like, man, it's cool, but not as cool as the rest of them.
Interestingly enough, I would have figured out of all these that would have been the single, Void Meridian. You know, and so it was At Races and The Dress, which apparently there's a whole video for that I got to watch. But
there's a video for The Dress?
Yeah, there's a video for The Dress.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, Void Meridian, I liked it. Like, it's a good, straightforward rocker. Like, I mean, it kind of reminded me of The Cult a little bit. But yeah, when it comes down to the rest of the songs, like, I almost feel like it should have been more towards the middle of the album. Like, you know, kind of break up some of it. But outside of that, I got nothing in terms of like a real complaint on here. Like, this is awesome. And, well, you know, it's probably been awesome for like another 3 albums at least. So I have some catching up to do. But overall, I'm gonna give this 4 stars. Bordering on a 4.5. I'm definitely going to be jamming this more. This has just got such a fucking mood to it. I feel like this album special edition should come with a pack of clove cigarettes and a leather jacket. Just finish the aesthetic. Complete it. The riffs on here are amazing. The melodies, my God, every song on here is catchy, and it's catchy in like different ways occasionally. Again, I never thought I would hear slide steel guitars and like blast beats combined.
Yeah.
Might have been a first.
That was not on my bingo card for this year, let me tell you.
No, this was my bingo card for any fucking year. But everything they tried on here, I think, really worked. And, dude, the songwriting on here is fantastic. Those just dropouts, the slow, like, mournful moments to the more seedy, jazzy moments. Dude, there's a whole vibe and just atmosphere to this that I just kind of got lost in. Like, I was thinking of settings for this album half the time I was listening to this. Yeah, this is an absolutely amazing piece of work. I definitely need to check out more by this band. If you're a big fan of, Tribulation, Unto Others, I would also say Royal Thunder, kind of similar to that. And, you know, I mean, again, like some classic, like, you know, St. Vitus and, you know, Black Sabbath and Candlemass, stuff like that. Check this album out. I have a lot of catching up to do.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and give this record 4 stars, too. And what's interesting is I listened to this record this morning on my way to work, driving 85 miles an hour on the turnpike to work. And at first glance for this record, I didn't really like it right off the bat. Now, it could have been that I was on the turnpike doing 85 miles an hour trying to get run over by semis and wasn't really paying attention. But it wasn't until I had a chance to sit down and actually listen to and fully dissect this record that I found myself really enjoying it. It's hypnotic, it's trance-inducing, all of these songs are wonderfully unique. The songs flow incredibly well. The mixture, again, from going somber to heavier to these really cool, sultry, jammy passages. I'm telling you, The Dress, I love it. I will put that part on repeat. It sits at about 3.5, 4 minutes. I promise you, it's awesome.
He's going to put The Dress on.
I'm going to put the... Whatever, fuck it, man. It's 2025, right? But no, yeah, the record's really good, dude. The vocals are on point. The musicianship is pretty killer, even though there's not a lot of, like, flashy bells and whistle things. Again, having a slide guitar with blast beats wasn't something I was expecting. I'm telling you, the lead work is great. And yeah, like you said, if you're a fan of any of the bands Nick mentioned or that we've mentioned throughout this, you're going to want to check this out. I would definitely state Newer Tribulation and On to Others. Like, those are 2 big ones. If you got into, you know, those last couple albums at all, you're really going to dig this. So yeah, give it a spin for yourself.
Yeah, I like the fact that goth rock has come back and sort of infected metal.
What a resurgence, dude.
I love it. It makes the doomy and gloomy stuff even catchier and more fun. So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We also have memberships. They are only 99 cents, and our lone perk is doing a members-only live stream, which we will be doing one probably sometime this month, maybe 4/20. Maybe. But memberships are the main way to support the channel. We also still have our store, thrallsmetal.com, with our shirts and hats. That is linked down below. And, of course, if you'd like to become a member of this channel and maybe get leather jackets with us, Yeah. Go smoke clove cigarettes in a seedy club. No, they won't let you do that anymore. Like pretty much every club.
Yeah,
says
you
that,
can't smoke
smoking.
fucking anywhere
Yeah,
anymore.
this isn't the fucking 90s.
You can't even really smoke in your fucking car anymore.
Yeah, no, I can do that. Either way, join button. If you press it, you can become a member, and that'll be fucking cool.
Yeah, but we'll really like it. We like the fact that you're here anyway. Whether or not you've joined, it's all good. We're thankful that you're here. This channel continues to grow, and it baffles me. Anyway, tons of discussion forums, segments, states of metal, is it metal, is it not metal, Nick's never-ending collection updates, blah, 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 blah. Live streams where we do stupid things. Members-only live streams where we do, like, twice the stupid. Sometimes 3 times as stupid. Sometimes I don't even get why you guys watch them, but it's cool. We do those things. We appreciate the fact that you're here and the fact that you watch us anyway, regardless of the fact that we're pretty dumb. So thank you.
Yeah, you guys absolutely rule. Tons of content coming your way. So one more big thank you because of all your rulage.
Thank you.
And we will catch you later.